Hello again, fellow quilters. Welcome back to my channel, Pages and Stitches. I am here with my, I believe my 7th Quilters Corner update. So I'm very happy to have you here and to show you what I've been working on this past month. Today is May 31st. I'm just squeaking in under the wire with my May update. And as you can see, there's a different project on my design wall. So I'm excited to show you what I was able to accomplish this month. If you are new here, hello, my name is Kelly. I do exclusively cross-stitching and quilting videos. I do have a floss tube video for every Quilters Corner video I do. So floss tube is entirely for cross-stitching, and then these videos are entirely for quilting. I film in my sewing room, which is, you know, my happy space. And so I'm excited to show you sort of what sewing projects I've been working on. I know there's quite a bit of crossover in our communities as far as cross-stitchers who quilt and quilters who cross-stitch. But my Quilters Corner videos definitely are less frequented. So if you are a quilter and you're here to get a sewing update, I'm super glad that you're here because I just love talking about sewing and quilting, and I'm excited that you've stopped by to see what's going on. If you're a returning viewer or a subscriber, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. It's just so nice to be able to connect with people and discuss, you know, your interests and you know, learn that you're like-minded and that you share the same creative pursuits. That's just really cool. So I'm gonna do a quick life update. If you've watched my floss tube video, it's the same information. You're welcome to skip past this part. But May was very busy for me. We had Mother's Day, so I spent the day with my mom and thanked her for being my mom. And then also, as you can see, I got a tattoo. This is the Greek goddess Hecate, and she is very significant to me. I love Greek mythology. I study Greek mythology just kind of recreationally, and it's just a subject that I'm passionate about. And so for various reasons, I decided I wanted to get her tattooed on me. This is not my first tattoo. I do have others. It's just you can't see them because they're covered up. But I will insert a quick little snippet about what this tattoo means to me and why I got it, so that if you have any questions, hopefully that answers them. So if you are interested in Greek mythology, or if you have any questions about it, definitely drop a comment down below because I love talking about it. And then also last month, I decided that I'm going to move. So I spent a weekend apartment hunting and kind of hashing that out and getting applications and deposits and things done. So I will be moving in August. I'm staying in the same city, just kind of like going to the other side of the city. So I'll be moving in August. So yeah, May was crazy, but I still found time to work on my projects. I still found time to do some sewing, which was awesome because I kind of needed that to center me. Sometimes I struggle with anxiety, and so whenever I'm having sort of like a anxiety induced kind of freak out, it's difficult to feel creative and to, you know, be motivated to work on your projects. But what I discovered this month is that it kind of helped to center me, helped to keep me a little bit more grounded. So I got a lot of good progress on my projects, and I'm very happy about that. Real quick, I'm going to do a reading update for those who are interested. In this past month, I was able to read Because You're Mine by Kleypas. She's my favorite romance author. I also read Cry Wolf by Patricia Briggs. I did another Lisa Kleypas, which is When Strangers Marry. And currently I am reading The Good Counselor by Rachel Alexander. This is the third book in this particular series, and it's about Hades and Persephone. So I wasn't kidding when I said I like Greek mythology. Okay, so let's talk about my whips. As you can see, I have a different project on my design wall. What was there previously was the Stakeled Panel Quilt by Ruby Star Society. I will insert a picture of what that looks like. And I finished it. Well, and I altered it as well. So as you can see in the original pattern, between all the blocks is some white sashing and some navy cornerstone blocks. And while I was putting all of the blocks on my design wall, I decided I liked the look of it without the sashing. I thought it looked way more scrappy and brighter. So I just nixed the sashing all together and I stitched all the blocks together, and that did change the finish size. So the panel quilt is a pretty big quilt. It's supposed to be 92 by 92. But without the sashing, it becomes 80 by 80 approximately. But I finished it. I finished all the blocks and I stitched them all together, and my quilt top is done. So now it has been folded up. I put the backing together. I just got 3 different prints from that line and stitched them together. And that is going to be, so that's gonna live in my closet for a little bit because I'm going to have it professionally quilted, but I don't have my appointment until August. So I will show you what that looks like when I finally do get it quilted and bound, but it'll live out of sight and out of mind for a minute. So now that that's not on my design wall anymore, I was able to reclaim the space, and I have my embroidery flowers quilt up on the wall now. So here is the finished quilt pattern, or what it will look like when it's done, of the embroidery flower quilt. And this is this is a free pattern, which I will link down below, but it's designed by Tilda from tildasworld.com. And she has a bunch of cool free patterns. This one I just love because it's reminiscent of cross stitching, which is obviously my other passion. So this is what I'm working on. The way this quilt is designed is it's broken up into 9 sections. So this is 1, 2, 3 would be over here, and this one is 4. That's what's down here that's not been stitched together yet. So here's kind of what it looks like. It gives you your diagram of how to lay out your colors and stitch them together. And it's entirely done in 2-inch squares. So the finished square size, once it's all stitched together, is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, which is crazy. But I adore the way it's coming out. It's looking so super cool, very artistic and just lovely. And so I'm very excited to get this done. The bright colors are really just making me drool every time I work on it because I just love bright colors. But it's also been, a little bit of a learning curve while I'm working on it. So the pattern doesn't have, it shows you how to lay it out and assemble it, but it doesn't really have instructions for ironing and the best method. So I've kind of had to, formulate that myself. So what I've been doing is I'll stitch a row together and I'll iron all the seams going one direction, and then stitch the next row, iron all the seams going the other direction, and do that all the way up. So that way when I finally stitch all the rows together, the seams nest and they're nice and flat. which seems, you know, that's an easy enough instruction. Where it starts to get a little complex is you have to keep in mind your directions for one section, so that way it informs the ironing directions of your seams for the next section, if that makes sense. So for example, on this block, I have all of the seams on my rows ironed up. So I had to be really sort of meticulous with how I ironed and how I paid attention. So that way when I stitched this section together, I made sure all of my seams were going down. So when these two sections finally get sewed together, those seams will marry. But then I also have to be aware of which direction the bottom row of the seams on the bottom row are ironed. So these are going to the right, which means when I do this top row for section 4, I gotta make sure that the seams are ironed to the left so that these nest whenever I get everything stitched together. So, I mean, it's not like difficult or anything. You just have to be really, you know, conscious of your choices whenever you're if you choose to iron though. If you iron your seams open, then, you know, who cares? But, I didn't want to iron my seams open because that seemed a little bit time consuming. Each section takes probably about like 3 or 4 hours to get everything stitched together and ironed properly. So just be aware of that if you choose to make this pattern, that, you know, there is no ironing instructions in the pattern. So if you want to make sure your seams nest nice and flat, you have to be conscious of how you're ironing and which direction you're putting them. But I'm just like, look at how bright it is. It's so fun. And I love you know, whenever you're laying them out, I at least wouldn't think to put some of these colors in the places that they're in. But when you step back and really take in the full picture, it just looks so super, super pretty. So I'm very excited to continue working on this and show you my progress for my next update, because I'm having such a good time. Like, all these colors make me so happy. And then I went over the material that I purchased for this pattern in my last update, but all of these are solid prints that I got from Fat Quarter Shop. And I got a bunch of different solid bundles. And the reason why I did that is because I'm also utilizing those solids for the other project I'm working on. So here's all of my solid bundles kind of squished into this box. I've got a bunch of different colors. They really don't fit very well, but I got, you know, tons of them in here. And I use them for the other project that I'm working on, which is a project of my own design that I'm calling the Color Palette Quilt. So I talked a little bit about the Color Palette Quilt last time. It is inspired by the online color palette generators that will take an image, just a random image, and pull different colors from that image to generate a color palette. And so I will insert examples of what I'm talking about so you have an idea. I have a board on Pinterest that I save all these color palettes in, and I pull from them whenever I'm designing a project. I went to that board whenever I was picking a color palette for my newest cross stitch project, and I just kind of decided that those palettes were quilt blocks. So I was like, I'm gonna make them into quilt blocks. So last time I showed you this one, with the mushroom print, and this is, so I pulled 5 colors from the mushroom print, and I just thought it turned out super cute. The size of this quilt block is 12.5 by 12.5, so the finished size will be 12 by 12. This side, the pattern, I cut at 7 by 12.5, and each of the colors I cut at 2.5 by 5.5, and the white sashing in between I cut at 1 inch, so that the finished size of the white sashing is 1/2 inch. And I don't really have a layout for the blocks yet. I'm toying with the idea of stitching them on the diagonal, so I can kind of rotate them around and make a unique layout. But I made a couple of other ones in the past month, so I just want to show you what those look like real quick. So this one is really pretty. This is sort of like a watercolory kind of marbled print. That's really, really pretty. So I got that one done. And then I have, this one's very bright and fun. I have this sort of striped pink orange pattern that I believe I got this from Joann's just like a while ago. But it's just a fun bright pattern, so I pulled those colors out of it. And then the last little one that I was able to work on is this one, which is really pretty. This print is a cave facet print, just a bunch of different leaves. I actually think he just released the same pattern in a different colorway, or a couple different colorways recently, and I really love this print. So I pulled that out and I got these beautiful colors from it. And this, it's just been tons of fun. These come together so fast because obviously, you know, there's not a lot of pieces to it. And I just cut, with the white, I just cut inch-long strips with the fabric, and then kind of like chain piece all these together and then trim them in between. So that makes that part really super easy because I don't have to pre-cut each of these little pieces. I just have one big long strip that I attach the other pieces to and then trim it afterwards. So I also went through my fabric stash and pulled a bunch of prints that I think would be really fun to make color palettes out of. So, oh God, that box was heavy. So, for example, got, you know, this fun print that'll be fun to make color palettes out of, and I'm just gonna cut a block that is the 7 by 12.5, like I said, and then just pull some cool colors out of it. As you can see, I like a bright color palette. And I'm gonna kind of figure it out as I go, how many I wanna make, how big I wanna make this quilt, and how I wanna lay it out. So once I get a better idea of what I'm gonna do with that, I'll definitely fill you guys in, give you an update on that. Okay, the last thing that I want to show you is I do have some haul that I'm actually really excited about, and I hope you guys are like it as much as I do. So the Andover Fabrics has Candy Quilts as a designer, and they just released a fabric line called Oracle, and I adore it because it is quilting and sewing themed tarot, which is super fun and super cute. So I will insert a picture from the Candy Quilts Instagram of the different lines. It comes in 3 different colorways. There is a green and yellow, a blue and purple pink, and then like an orange and magenta. And they're all super beautiful. And I think my local quilt shop had them in stock for, you know, less than a day before I put in an order for the fabrics. So I got that line plus a couple additional prints. So I want to show you what I got. Okay, so first is a panel. Let me make sure I have this the right way. And here it is. So as you can see, I'm trying to show you. They are quilt themed tarot. Look, bobbins. Here, let me get a better look at this. We've got 2 of bobbins, 3 of needles. We've got the 3 of irons. Look, they have steaming irons. How stinking cute. And then we have like the major arcana. There's the magician, and it is absolutely magic to stitch a quilt together. So he's got his rotary cutter in the air. We have strength, which is this beautiful lion. And as you can see, he's got pins in his mouth. I don't advocate putting pins in your mouth, but I am also equally as naughty as everybody else, and I do it. But it is very dangerous. Don't do that. And then we have Metamorphosis, which is this beautiful butterfly, and he's holding, and the skeleton hand is holding a seam ripper. Let's see, we got 7 of irons. Let me get a better grip on this. Okay, we've got these 6 of bolts. Isn't that cute with the bolts of fabric behind them? Like weapons. And then we have another major arcana, which is the star. And it's a quilted point star. A quilted 8-point star, which is precious. And lastly, we have the Ace of Needles. Isn't that so fun? I just adore it. So, and then of course the panel also has these really cool banners on both sides. So I immediately was like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't care. I'm getting this. So I ordered it right away, and I have not found a pattern necessarily for this quilt line. They did release one. There is one designed that you can, it is a free pattern. I believe you can get it on Andover Fabrics or on Candy Quilts website, but I don't like it. So I think what I'm ultimately going to end up doing is designing something for this, but let me show you the rest of what I got. So first of all, my quilt shop, my local quilt shop, which is where I got this, made a little bit of a mistake. So I ordered the panel from them originally, as you can see right here is the one I just showed. But the one they have in stock is a different colorway. So I now have 2 of these because I went and got the correct colorway for the fabric line that I purchased. And then I also have the other one, which is a little bit more colorful. It's supposed to go with the orange and magenta line. And then of course it's got like, it just has other colors like blues and orange and red and things. So I got the fabric line that is green and yellow, and it's got green, yellow, like a mint blue and brown, and it doesn't have any of the colors that are pretty much listed in here. So I went ahead and was like, I gotta get the correct panel. I'm going to keep this one. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet. I might convert it into some sort of bag or make pillows out of it. I might give it away in, you know, a giveaway. So I'm gonna keep this one. But it wasn't the one that matched the line that I purchased. So I had to order the correct one from another shop. The weird thing about this line, 'cause it is relatively new, but it's very difficult to find. And when I do find it, most of the places that have it aren't selling the complete line. Like they don't have all 3 colorways. So I got what I could from my shop, and then I actually had to supplement from another online shop to get 2 additional prints that mine didn't carry. So let me show you the fabric line. So here is, I got a yard of each of these prints. So here is this print, which is kind of an amalgamation of all the different motifs that were in the panel. And then there's this one that has like these little eyes and stars. And then this one, actually, goes this way. which also has these little eyes and like moons and stuff. And then I also got, here's the bobbin print. And then the other two prints I had to supplement from another online shop. So this one is a fern print. And then this one, which I love so much, is the moon phases. And these are all metallic. Let me see if you can see the shine a little bit. These are all metallic print. And they're metallic on each of the 3 colorway lines. So I got these 2 as well, a yard of each of these. And then I supplemented with 3 other prints that I think just kind of complement. So I also got this print, this stripe, which is called, let me reference my notes here. This is called Delightful Dozen in the colorway Cream. And I got these 2, these dots here. So I got like a minty dot and this yellow that goes with it. So the minty dot is called it's called Country Confetti and in the colorway Mint Seagrass. And then the yellow one is Garden Pin Dot in the colorway Lemon. So like I said, there's no pattern that I found that I'm like, I'm gonna use that pattern for this fabric line. I think I'm gonna have to kind of design one myself, which isn't the first time I've done that. But my idea is to kind of do it like a tarot card reading, like do the layout similar to a tarot layout. You know, that makes sense, right? But I just got to figure out how I'm going to do it. The other tricky thing is that panel has 10 tarot cards, and getting it laid out nice and even is difficult because usually, you know, you do like 9, you do 3 this way, 3. I don't know. That's if that makes any sense. So I may have to nix one of the cards. I don't know. I will, once I sit down and kind of work out a layout, I will definitely let you guys know. Hef, are you talking? Come here. Come here. Meow. Hef wanted to stop by and say hi. He said hi in my floss tube video as well. He's being very needy this morning. Say hi, kitty. Look, there's the black cat here, and there's a black cat there. He's my sweet boy. He's very old. If this is your first time meeting him, I got his hair on my face. He's 14 years old. He turned 14 this past month. Or, no, that's not right. He turned 14 in April. So he's a little old man, and he needs lots of love and affection. Okay, can I put you down now? Or do you want to keep talking? I'm gonna put you down now. Real quick, I wanted to show you, so the other shop, the online shop I had to get those 2 other prints from that my shop didn't carry is called Fringe Hour Studio. And when they sent me the fabric, they also included this little insert here about a quilt along, a block of the month quilt that you can participate in. And it has, let me get a close look. It has all the details about how to sign up. And then this is the quilt, and you're gonna do rows for the different blocks of the month. And I love this. This is so pretty. So I might participate. I don't know. I need another quilt project, like I need a hole in the head, but when has that ever stopped me in the past? I don't know, but this is very pretty. And so I wanted to give you guys the same information in case you wanted to sign up. Because like they said, kits are limited. Okay, that is all of my quilting progress for the last month. So let's go over plans for next month. I'm sorry, now that I've held my cat, there's cat hair on my face. Okay. So I think I want to try my hand at making project bags and grime guards. So the grime guards obviously would be for cross stitch projects, but the project bags not necessarily are. Those can be used for different things. If you're cross stitch, if you do hand embroidering, if you knit or crochet while you travel, or if you even travel with your quilting and you have a lot of threads and bobbins and tools that you want to take with you, you can use project bags for that. So I think I want to try my hand at making some, and then I can utilize those in different giveaways, because I want to be able to give away some fun and kind things to my subscribers and to people who participate in the same hobbies. So I'm very close to 500 subscribers, and so what I would like to do when I finally reach that benchmark is do a giveaway. So I think what I'm going to do is make a couple of project bags, and again, potentially I might give away the extra panel from the Oracle line. So if you guys would be interested at all in that, let me know. Drop a comment down below and tell me what you think. If you're new here, drop a comment, say hi, give me y'all's opinion on what I'm working on and the projects that I've shown you today. I love to chit chat with you guys about the things that I'm doing, so that I can get your opinions and I can get your advice on things. And yeah, and if you have any questions about anything, I'm gonna link everything I've talked about and everything that I can down below. But if you have any questions at all, definitely let me know. Also, you can reach out to me on my Instagram. It's the same handle as my YouTube channel, which is Pages3Stitches, no spaces. Pages and Stitches. Let me address something real quick. So a lot of people are curious why I use the number 3 as the and instead of like spelling it out or using the ampersand symbol. And the reason for that is I wanted my Instagram handle, my YouTube handle to be the same, but Instagram didn't let me use an ampersand. And I believe having it spelled out was taken, I think. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just use the number 3, flip the and symbol around. When I was in school, when I was in high school and I used an and symbol, I would use the number 3 and then do a line on top and a line on the bottom. And that was my, I don't know why, I don't know where that came from, but that was my and symbol. So it just made sense to me to use the number 3 for Pages and Stitches. But if you reach out to me on Instagram, that is a private channel or a private account. But if you send me a request or you send me a message, I'll definitely accept you. I just want to keep out the weirdos in my life. And also, I have included my Gmail, my email account, which is just kellystietz@gmail.com. So if you have any questions or if you just want to kind of chit chat and say hi and connect that way, you can always email me there. Okay, so next, my plans for this next month is I'm gonna keep trucking away at this. I need to obviously stitch this panel together and then get them all up on my design wall. I'm gonna keep working on my color palette quilt, and then I need to figure out some sort of layout, some sort of quilt pattern for my Oracle quilt. And once I get that done, I'm absolutely going to share it with you. And I still have not finally quilted my cinnamon toast with all my Anna Maria Horner prints. I have to talk myself into doing the quilting. I love piecing together a quilt top. That's my favorite thing. But when it actually comes to making the quilt sandwich and doing the quilting, I gotta be in the right mood, because that's my least favorite part of quilting is kind of like forcing the big quilt sandwich through my machine. So I still need to work on that. And now that I'm going to be moving in a couple months, I need to finish some projects, because it's gonna be much easier to move a finished quilt than it will be to move pieces of a quilt. So I really need to get motivated and finish all those things. That's it, guys. That's everything. Again, like I said, if you have any questions, just leave them down below, and I will see you guys in a month. Okay? I hope you're feeling creative and you get lots of work done, and you're able to make a lot of progress on your quilting and your sewing projects. And I will see you guys at the end of next month. Okay, have an awesome day. Bye.